Thank you very much. Morning, ladies and gentlemen. So it's a pleasure to take part in this panel alongside the other distinguished participants. So looking at the anti-doping landscape as it presents itself today, the International Testing Agency is the latest addition to the clean sport movement. The ITA was a response to certain limitations of the anti-doping system as it presented itself before our organization came to life. So let me walk you through and give me the opportunity to explain why the creation of the ITA was a necessary complementary element in the fight against doping. Among all sports integrity issues, anti-doping is the most regulated one. With the World Anti-Doping Agency, there is a global regulatory body that leads the coordination for doping-free sport, as said Mike Manami this moment. The efforts of the anti-doping system are supported by international conventions, for instance, those established by UNESCO and the Council of Europe. We'll all work within a relative harmonized framework with a standard common denominator of remaining compliant with the World Anti-Doping Code and relevant standards. In this regard, the fight against doping is built on a solid structure, a common ground for all organizations involved in clean sport. But despite these efforts, there are also challenges, as with all international efforts involving a wide range of stakeholders with different approaches and motivations. Before the ITA was established, there were three main types of organizations that carried out clean sport activities. First, national anti-doping organizations that focused on implementing anti-doping programs for their national athletes in their countries. Second, international federations that tested international level athletes by sport. And third, major events organizers that were required to implement clean sport measures for their international competitions. The fact that this global system exists is excellent for the fight against doping, but it also harbors certain risks. National organizations are funded by their respective countries and are part of the state establishment, which could mean that there may be an extension of government interests. And international federations are under pressure from political forces or financial income from sponsors and events. This creates potential and real conflicts of interest that can undermine anti-doping efforts and the trust that athletes have in the system. The uncovering of systematic and systemic doping systems in various sports and countries over the years led to the call for a new approach in the fight against doping. An approach that should be independent from sports organizations. So in 2018, the International Testing Agency was founded on the initiative of the Olympic movement and the World Anti-Doping Agency. Our mission was clear: to deliver objective and expert anti-doping programs of the highest standards to any organization seeking our support and free from any sport or political powers. The introduction of the ITA as a new entity in the anti-doping landscape was necessary, but not always met with enthusiasm. Other actors in the clean sport community were not convinced that we could fit into this landscape. This also required a lot of determination, relationship building, and diplomacy. Today, over 5 years later, the principle of independence has largely prevailed in the anti-doping movement, mainly through collaboration. The ITA already works with over 60 international federations and major events organizers, and cooperates with almost 40 national and regional anti-doping organizations. We also work with a wide range of other organizations around the world that want to promote free sport. Our legitimacy is based on the principle that the ITA can add value to the anti-doping landscape and not replace existing efforts. The IT develops, pools and shares its expertise in the context of an anti-doping landscape that is becoming increasingly complex and demanding in terms of standards and regulations. It is also clear that the structure of the anti-doping system is characterized by the problem it is fighting, doping. As the ITA was founded in response to a gap in independence, the future may bring various other solutions to combat the threats to athletes' health. We are already seeing that education and doping prevention are playing an increasingly important role in protecting athletes. All that information sharing and investigations are an important element alongside testing. Other cooperation and capacity building between organizations dealing with different issues of sports integrity. And when it comes to independence in the fight against doping, the ITA and the entire anti-doping landscape must continue to strive for more impartiality despite some successes that have already been achieved. So thank you very much.